Good evening, I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Tonight, the devastating economic impact of COVID-19.
We will face a great fiscal reckoning.
Alberta, already suffering, now projects soaring unemployment. 1 in 4 people will lose their jobs.
I'm Andrew Chang. Also tonight, concerns that essential workers may be spreading the virus.
I think it's disgusting.
Employees working in multiple long-term care homes. BC moved to stop this, so why hasn't Ontario?
I had no fever, I had no shortness of breath, and I had no coughing.
The unusual and surprising symptoms of COVID-19.
And a bit of levity during these difficult times.
Who's excited, huh?
But the Canadian hit, bringing people together, says farewell.
It's a show that's really about the power of community. Those are messages that mean more now than ever before.
This is The National.
The financial pain of this pandemic seems to spread faster than the virus itself. Many of you feel it already.
And now a pretty startling projection is highlighting the scale of economic hardship to come. Now here's some perspective. In February, the national unemployment rate stood at about 5.5%. But with the virus spreading, the Parliamentary Budget Officer says it could rise to 15% by the end of the year. And a stark scenario from Alberta, a provincial jobless rate of 25% or worse. That's more than 500,000 people there, potentially out of work. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney addressed the province this evening and laid bare the challenges ahead. But as Carolyn Dunn shows us, he didn't dwell on the jobless picture, but rather on how quickly COVID-19 might spread.
Not since the Great Depression has Alberta's economy been hit harder or faster. And it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Alberta Premier Jason Kenney says the unemployment rate is expected to hit a startling 25% or higher.
We will face a great fiscal reckoning in the future.
That 25% is a number that none of our leaders have ever seen. So we have to navigate differently. I think about all the households that are going to be impacted and the need and the stress on our social systems that that's going to cause.
Alberta faces multiple threats. First, the health emergency that's fueling layoffs and shutting businesses. Kenney offered 2 scenarios. The most optimistic and most probable would see between 400 and 3,000 deaths. Worst case, the province could see 1 million infections and over 6,000 deaths.
Now, I know that these numbers can be overwhelming, but these models are not a done deal. I want Albertans instead to see them as a challenge. Perhaps the greatest challenge of our generation.
There has also been an unparalleled drop in the price of oil, pushed down by low demand due to COVID-19, and also by a Saudi-Russian price war flooding the market.
I'm not worrying about tomorrow.
After having to lay off 15 workers from her own cafe, Kathy Jacobs says she decided to focus on what she can control, like turning her business into a charity, delivering packages of food to those without work.
Probably will have to hold the hand of those that need the help emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially.
Undoubtedly, there will be need. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Calgary.
So to help understand this, we're joined by the CBC's Peter Armstrong. Projected unemployment of 25%. It sounds a bit hard to fathom. Can you put that in some perspective for us, Peter?
It would be spectacularly bad. I mean, it would be the worst this country's ever seen, at least since we've started keeping modern records. Newfoundland saw the country's worst ever back in 1984, and that was 22%. I mean, Adrienne, the U.S. saw 24.9% unemployment at the absolute peak of the Great Depression in 1933. So, look, this is awful, and it's a glimpse into just how bad things may get right across the country. Every time somebody makes a forecast, the actual data come in, and it's just much, much worse.
So how then do you think this will fit into what's expected on Thursday? That's when the latest national jobless figures come out.
This is going to be a crucial report. I mean, the bulk of the layoffs happened right in the middle of March. Since then, we have seen some numbers. You know, the government says more than 3 million Canadians have applied for jobless benefits. We know the Conference Board of Canada has said as many as 15% of the unemployment rate could reach as high as 15%. We know also that lower income Canadians are getting the hardest hit in this. Remember, the most common jobs in Canada, retail sales. So these numbers will almost shatter any existing records we have.
All right, Peter, thanks very much. We'll definitely be watching for that.
Now in Canada, this virus has now claimed at least 421 lives. And today, for the first time, Nova Scotia is included in that count. It recorded its first death from COVID-19, a woman in her 70s. Countrywide, we're now closing in on 18,000 cases. And today, once again, the biggest jumps were in Ontario and Quebec. There, leaders also released some stark new projections for just how bad the outbreak could get. Alison Northcott takes us through them.
There's a lot of crying, obviously. Everyone in the family is quite upset.
Peter Wieland lost his father Ken just days ago. He died after contracting COVID-19.
He's 85 years old, but even when you're prepared for the worst, when it hits hard.
150 people in Quebec have died from the virus so far. Today, the province revealed it's preparing for hundreds, possibly thousands more. In its optimistic scenario, the virus could kill 1,200 people by the end of the month. In the pessimistic one, based on how the virus spread in Italy, that number climbs to nearly 9,000. But health officials hope measures in place here will prevent that outcome.
We have not had the chance to know and to intervene rapidly in Italy. And at the moment when they did, in fact, it was kind of too late. We are sure that we are not going in that way.
The peak in Quebec, they say, could come next week, but they wouldn't offer projections beyond this month. Ontario has projected between 3,000 and 15,000 deaths over the course of the outbreak. Premier Doug Ford says even when the curve might begin to flatten, it's important to stay vigilant.
If we see a little decline, by no means should we be sitting back and thinking that the curve is going the other way. If we see 2-3 weeks of the curve going down, then we're going in the right direction. But that doesn't mean let up.
Quebec's public health director was reluctant to give projections because he said it's hard to get them right. But the premier insisted, and some say they're a useful tool.
We're all going through tough times, some people much tougher than others. But we're all making sacrifices, and it's important to know what those sacrifices are for.
Quebec's premier says the province is making progress against the virus, but says Quebecers can't ease up yet. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
British Columbia again recorded a much smaller number of new cases today, just 25. And as Briar Stewart shows us, with that news, a plea from officials: don't let your guard down yet.
During a sunny spring day, you might forget that this province is in the middle of a pandemic, but officials don't want you to.
If you look at the data and the press conferences from our health officials, they're showing us that we're making a difference, but we can't let up.
That's why the Park Board announced that starting tomorrow, it's closing off roads in Stanley Park, all in an effort to restrict the number of people in the area, particularly ahead of the long weekend. There's a push to prevent people from becoming too complacent because BC appears to be flattening the curve, both with the number of cases and the number of hospitalizations. The reason? Part of it, experts say, is good fortune, that BC didn't import more cases early on and that those infected weren't super spreaders.
You can have a single person responsible for literally hundreds of cases if circumstances go differently. So that was a huge benefit, but it's not all luck.
This epidemiologist also praised what he called BC's well-integrated healthcare system, and others have credited Provincial Health Officer Bonnie Henry.
We're in the thick of it right now.
She oversaw Toronto's outbreak of SARS and H1N1. Henry herself has acknowledged timing also played a role here because BC's warning against non-essential travel happened before March break began. Today, as the province announced another 4 deaths, officials repeated their plea.
When there's some evidence that we are flattening the curve, we need to double down now.
Which is why they're urging people to stay at home and away from the province's most popular spots. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
Now, many of Canada's most serious infections and deaths are from patients in long-term care homes. Workers there often move between multiple homes. David Common points out that practice continues despite evidence it can lead to deadly outbreaks.
A cruel twist of pandemics are the lessons found in tragedy. BC learned one here, Lynn Valley, where at least 13 seniors died. And officials now believe the virus arrived through an employee, one who worked at multiple care homes.
What our public health officer realized was that we need to limit these care staff to one care home before there's an outbreak in order to prevent the outbreak.
That order dictated that staff only be allowed to work at one site, though health officers could make exceptions if imperative.
And I think that that has been a successful strategy.
But in spite of outbreaks at no less than 51 homes, Ontario isn't using the same strategy as BC, only recommending care staff work at just one facility. While many have chosen to do that voluntarily, the union that represents them says before the pandemic, 60% were working for more than one employer just to pay the bills.
I had a couple of breakdowns. It's just very emotional.
Cindy Hasler is unwinding in her backyard on her one day off from working in a Hamilton area care home. No infections there yet, but several nearby have it. And yet, she says, many staffers still work between multiple care homes.
I think it's disgusting. I would just really like to see the government step up to the plate here and mandate that you only work in one long-term care facility at one time. It's been very upsetting to me.
She isn't alone, worrying that failing to follow BC's example could lead to more deaths. We're all learning as we go here, but key is that those lessons don't come too late. David Common, CBC News, Toronto.
Ontario's outbreak is still growing at a worrying pace, and a handful of the province's cases come from just over the Michigan border. The city of Detroit is struggling with more than 5,500 cases of COVID-19 across the Detroit River. Windsor, Ontario's outbreak is, by population, less than 1/10 that size. Yet, hundreds of Canadian healthcare workers cross over each day to work in Detroit hospitals. And as Chris Glover explains, they are already coming back sick.
45-year-old ER nurse Tori Robertson is himself tonight struggling in hospital with COVID-19.
Started with just a little fever for him, and it just every day progressed and got worse.
Like 1,600 others from the Windsor area, Robertson works at a hospital in Detroit.
Thank you.
Neighbors in their small town are applauding his selflessness during the pandemic. Respiratory therapist Jeffrey Rowe travels to Detroit for work from his Windsor home. Returning after a recent shift, this support from Canadian border guards broke his usually stoic exterior.
It just went right to my heart, and I started weeping. And it was just such a cool shot in the arm that got my spirits up.
His hospital just lost its first healthcare worker to the virus, a nurse in her 50s. More than 700 other staff have tested positive. Hospitals like this one in New York City are overwhelmed. And Detroit is preparing to be next. With more than 5,500 cases, it has more than the whole province of Ontario. Across the river, Windsor just has 230 cases. Nearly 20% of those infected work at American hospitals. Despite the threat of bringing COVID back, Windsor Public Health says that over-the-border work must continue.
They understand the risk that comes with going to there. We're not abandoning those people.
Healthcare staff in the region now have to pick one hospital to work at to prevent the spread of the virus between facilities. Some feared a recent diplomatic dispute between the U.S. president and Canada over potentially banning exports of American respiratory masks could escalate into a hard stop at the border, even to essential workers.
I'm comforted that bright minds will prevail, that Twitter politics will not prevail at the end of the day, and that the right thing will be done.
But these Detroit heroes need more than song. They need their Canadian colleagues in battle. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, most people know the common COVID symptoms to watch for: dry cough, fever, difficulty breathing. But some patients don't experience any of those, and others have unusual symptoms. As Vicadopia tells us, that can make it harder to diagnose.
COVID-19 has been a hard slog for Deborah Kopikin. The New York author has been sick for more than 2 weeks.
The not being able to breathe is it's terrifying.
She first noticed something was up while reorganizing spices.
I couldn't smell anything. They all smell, all the green spices smell the same.
Fatigue and a severe headache. The first signs Emily Peck and Justin Alexanderson were sick.
Almost like a hangover, or Justin, I've never had a concussion, but Justin said it's kind of like a concussion. And yeah, you can't get out of bed. You're so exhausted.
Definitely tired, like hit by a truck tired.
Kim Murphy also lost her sense of taste.
I had no fever, or if I did, it was very, very, very minor. I had no shortness of breath, and I had no coughing.
Doctors and health officials also warn of other uncommon symptoms of COVID-19: delirium, diarrhea, eye infection, seizures, even stroke.
And so at our hospital, we are testing all patients who present with stroke symptoms. We're testing, and we're actually doing CAT scans, CT scans on their chest as well to look for signs of COVID infections.
These atypical symptoms are just that, not typical, at least in Canada. But in Italy, doctors have set up separate units to treat patients with these neurological symptoms, which suggest an inflammation of the brain. A Canadian neurologist working in Pittsburgh is now leading a team of researchers to find out more.
I think it is important for us to learn as much about this virus as possible so we can properly screen for it, and then we can figure out how to treat patients, the small portion of patients who may have neurological dysfunction from the infection.
It's another sign of how the science is fighting to keep up with the pandemic. Vic Adopia, CBC News, Toronto.
Governments around the world, including Canada, are scrambling to secure deliveries of ventilators and PPE from abroad. But Ottawa says it has made headway on an alternate solution.
We need a sustainable, stable supply of these products, and that means making them at home. We have told these companies across the country who put up their hands to go ahead and get building ventilators as quickly as possible and as many as possible.
Justin Trudeau said 30,000 made-in-Canada ventilators are in the works, though no word on when they'll be delivered. Ottawa also says Canadian companies are making PPE from locally sourced materials like construction industry house wrap and automobile airbags. Meanwhile, the city of Toronto is recalling more than 62,000 faulty surgical masks following reports of them ripping and tearing.
We are conducting an investigation to determine how many employees may have used these masks and if there was possible exposure to COVID-19 as a result.
Staff at 3 long-term care homes with confirmed outbreaks received those masks last month. The city will receive a $200,000 refund for the shipment, but it will have to dip into its stockpile of surgical masks for replacements. And some frustration in Nova Scotia as officials grow concerned about community spread in the province.
I can't even believe that after everything we've been talking about, some of you think it's okay to have a gathering or party. You are not only putting yourself at risk, you are putting everyone in your community at risk.
The Premier's stern message comes on the day Nova Scotia surpassed the 300 case mark. Fear over the coronavirus has people making some pretty wild claims online about cures and treatments, none of them scientifically proven and some of them quite dangerous. But Health Canada is starting to crack down. Here's Katie Nicholson with our COVID check team.
You're saying that silver solution would be effective.
Totally eliminate it, kills it, and deactivates it.
Yeah. This hard sell for a bogus COVID-19 product got Faith TV in trouble with Health Canada. The Canadian TV station received one of 27 compliance orders from the federal government warning about making unproven claims about COVID-19. There were orders to naturopaths and natural medicine stores, to a woman who offers lip injections selling face masks, and to the big players too, companies like Canadian Tire and Amazon. The online retailer received several orders for products being sold that made unauthorized claims about COVID-19. Even Radio Canada was called out for an unverified claim on one of its online stories, which it has since fixed.
I like the fact that they're going after the range because we're seeing misinformation and inappropriate marketing absolutely everywhere.
But pseudoscience critic Timothy Caulfield would like to see tougher penalties for health misinformation.
You know, I'd like to see fines. I'd like to see providers that are regulated stopped from making claims and providing unproven treatments.
The pandemic has prompted a wave of health misinformation on everything from diagnostic tests to home remedies.
I mean, if you tell someone to drink chloride bleach, I mean, that is really bad for you.
Senator Stan Kutcher is pleased the government is cracking down on bad COVID-19 information, but he thinks people also need to take responsibility for themselves.
Come on, Canadians. We've also got to up our game to become more science literate, more health literate, so we can separate fiction from fact.
Health Canada says it will continue to monitor websites and work with retailers to remove false and misleading claims. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, an unusual sight in the U.S. tonight, an election in the midst of a pandemic. Up next, the long lines of voters in Wisconsin as the president takes aim at the World Health Organization.
And kids have questions, so tonight they ask our panel of doctors.
What does it feel like to have the virus?
Why do we have to stay home?
And Ryan Reynolds tells us why he's joining forces with a Canadian hockey legend.
She's just kind of one of those everyday superheroes.
We're back in 2. The epicenter of the global COVID-19 outbreak remains the United States. New York suffered its deadliest day yet as officials keep telling people to stay home. But as Katie Simpson tells us, in Wisconsin, they did the opposite, proceeding with a statewide in-person vote.
Looks like a hospital triaging patients, doesn't it? And this, like a drive-through coronavirus testing center. Both are actually polling stations in Wisconsin. Physical distancing rules were loosely enforced as tens of thousands of people voted in the state's primary and judicial elections.
I have to come down here today and risk my life to vote, and I'm happy to do it because that is my right.
Democrats tried and failed to get these votes postponed. That's not an option for the general election, Joe Biden says, but it's time to look at a backup plan.
Have all the experts, both political parties and academia, laying out what it would take to have voting by mail.
The president encouraged people to vote and sidestepped questions about whether he accepts responsibility if voters get sick.
All I did was endorse a candidate that's highly qualified, very respected person, and all hell broke loose.
Instead, Donald Trump used his daily coronavirus briefing to point a finger at the World Health Organization, announcing the U.S. is putting its funding on hold.
They called it wrong. They called it wrong. They missed the call.
But Trump admitted he didn't read a January memo from his top trade advisor warning of the seriousness of the illness. The hunt for accountability comes on a dark day in the hardest hit state. 731 people died in New York over a 24-hour span, the largest number of deaths in a single day.
Behind every one of those numbers is an individual, is a family, is a mother, is a father.
New guidelines are coming out here tomorrow for asymptomatic people who've been exposed to someone with the illness. Recommendations likely around isolation and protective gear. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is spending a second night in intensive care. Said to be in good spirits, Johnson is being given oxygen but breathing without the help of a machine.
And I'm confident he'll pull through. Because if there's one thing I know about this Prime Minister, he's a fighter. And he'll be back at the helm, leading us through this crisis in short order.
The Queen sent a message to Johnson's family and his partner, Carrie Simons, saying they were in her thoughts and that she wished the Prime Minister a full and speedy recovery. So the words intensive care sound pretty ominous, but the work done there is aimed at bringing patients back from the brink. Thomas Dagler looks at what happens in intensive care units to help COVID patients.
Consider this the last line of defense against COVID-19. The intensive care unit, where the most critically ill patients are treated. Many are put on a ventilator to help them breathe. Others, such as Boris Johnson, are given oxygen, likely through a mask.
So there are nurses at the bedside.
But this Toronto ICU director points out there's still no guarantee anything will help.
A lot of patients get worse despite the ventilation, and then there's very little that we can do but wait and hope that things turn around.
The BBC was granted access to an ICU treating coronavirus patients in London,
Ready, steady.
Where medical staff have found turning patients onto their stomach can help oxygen reach their lungs. It's a delicate procedure, but crucial, with COVID-19 jeopardizing respiratory functions.
Well, with me, it was a terrible time because of my breathing.
Some much younger patients have wound up in intensive care as well.
It's a challenge.
Including 41-year-old Rene Segura from Barrie, Ontario. He's been home for a week, still slowly recovering.
For 6 to 8 weeks, I am going to have a lingering cough, but day by day it's starting to go away.
It's not gone that way for everyone. This British ICU doctor says patients put on a ventilator for several days may be in for a long recovery.
We shouldn't expect to see them return to their full level of function for several months after the illness. This is really going to hit people hard.
Early research during this outbreak found half of intensive care patients don't survive, but doctors are getting a better understanding of COVID-19. So while there may be no cure, for patients there is more hope. Thomas Dagle, CBC News, Toronto.
Ahead tonight, this is a busy weekend for many religious Canadians, and chances are it's all going to look a little different this year.
I'm a bit of a big deal on YouTube.
How religious leaders are turning to technology to bring their people closer together.
And in just a few moments, our doctors are here to take your questions, except the twist tonight is that all the questions are coming from kids like Sequoia.
When would they find a cure for COVID-19?
Simple, straightforward question, right? But first.
Hi, Ryan.
Right. Hi, Amy.
Ryan Reynolds can be a tough guy to get a hold of, but agreed to give an interview to an old friend who now works at CBC Vancouver.
That's me circled in the purple, and that's you down on the ground.
Reynolds grew up to play a superhero, though he thinks his friend and fellow Canadian Hayley Wickenheiser is perhaps more deserving of the title.
She's one of those people that always, she's always standing up for the right thing at the right time with all of her, every cell in her body.
When Wickenheiser put out a call for people to donate protective equipment to hospitals, he answered, tweeting, "People who help Hayley get this critical PPE gear will get something awesome from me."
I just did everything I could to amplify her message and help her. But I assure you, she's the one that's out there on the front lines.
He may be being modest. Reynolds and his wife, actress Blake Lively, have also donated $1 million to food banks in Canada and the U.S.
It's the idea that, kids in countries as prosperous as the United States and Canada and so many other countries would be going without food. And, that happens even when there isn't a pandemic, which is, mind-boggling as well. So yeah, we try to sort of focus a little bit more outwardly.
Welcome back. This is the part of the program where we put your COVID-19 questions directly to the medical experts. But tonight, those questions are coming from kids. Now, here to answer those questions, we have Dr. Isaac Bogosh, an infectious diseases specialist, and pediatrician Dr. Dina Kulik. So here we go. First question. This is for you, Dr. Kulik, and it's from Parker.
My question's about the virus is, how long does it stay in your body and what does it do to your body?
Go for it.
That's an excellent question. So COVID probably lives in your body for about 2 weeks. Some studies show even up to 3 or 4 weeks, but most of us are thinking about 14 days. And what happens is when the virus enters your body, typically that's from your eyes or your nose or your mouth, from you touching a surface that had COVID on it. And once it goes into your body, it starts to make different versions of itself. So it starts to replicate, making more and more and more COVID copies. And that's why people start to get symptoms, because they have more of these copies in their nose and in their throat, and sometimes going down into their chest. And that will cause the cough and runny nose and fever that some people get with COVID.
And when does it, or how does it leave the body eventually?
Well, eventually your body's immune system will start to fight that virus like it does any virus, like influenza or others. Your body will start to recognize it as being foreign and start to attack it. And when it attacks it, that's when you start to get better and less contagious.
All right. Dr. Bogosh, this next question is for you, and it's from Olivia.
I was wondering, what does it feel like to have the virus?
Oh, Olivia, that's a good question. We know that many people that have this virus are going to feel pretty crummy for a few days. They might have a fever, they might have a cough, they might feel pretty run down and have to stay at home and stay on the couch or stay in bed for a few days. But luckily, most people that get this infection will start to feel better after a few days, and most people won't even need to go to the hospital for care. So most people will do just fine, and they'll get better on their own after a few days at home.
Okay, Dr. Bogosh, we've got another one for you. This is from Sequoia.
When will they find a cure for COVID-19?
Oh, Sequoia, that's also a great question. So, there's lots of doctors and scientists working on finding a cure. There's studies that are going on right now, and they're testing lots of new drugs. So hopefully we're going to have some answers in the next 2 to 3 months about new drugs that can be used to treat this. And then just like people get vaccines once a year for the flu, they're working on getting a vaccine for COVID-19. And that's probably about a year to a year and a half away still. So the treatments we'll know a bit more about in the next 2 to 3 months, but a vaccine probably close to a year or a year and a half.
Yeah, does any medicine help?
So certainly right now, we know that there isn't any specific medicine that we can use that will help fight this infection. But there's lots of different drugs that we're trying to see if they'll work, and we'll have an answer pretty soon.
Okay. Dr. Kulik, this next question is from Quentin.
My question is, my mom is not sick, my dad's not sick, and my brother's not sick. Why do we have to stay home?
It's an excellent question. The reason is two things. One, we want to make sure that you and your family stay healthy. And if you're out in the world and going to school, or your parents are going to work, or you're going to the playground, you might get infection. And that means you might bring it home to your family, and people may get sick. But also, you could actually have the infection, or someone in your family could, and you may not know it. Because lots of people that have COVID have no symptoms or very mild symptoms. So by you staying home, you're protecting yourself from getting it from other people, and you're protecting other people from getting it from you, even if you're not sick.
Right, best to be careful. Dr. Bogosh, this is Alexandra.
My question is, can you catch COVID-19 multiple times?
Alexandra, that's a fantastic question. And, the short answer is we're not 100% sure just yet. But most people who are in science and medicine and public health think that once you get this infection and you recover from it, you're not going to be able to get it again, at least for the next few months to probably a year. So once you get it and recover, you're very likely to be okay and not going to get it again.
Okay, we've got a little bit of time left. Dr. Kulik, this is Ella.
I would like to know, how can I help other people from not getting COVID-19?
Fantastic question. So the way we prevent the infection is two things. One is maintaining physical or social distance. So that's why you guys are not in school, and that's why many of us are not working, and we're not going to the playground or grocery stores and trying to stay away. If you stay at least 2 meters away from other people, you're less likely to get it from them. But then the other piece is to maintain really, really clean hands. So you want to be washing for at least 20 to 30 seconds with soap and water multiple times per day. Because the most common reason why we get COVID is by touching other surfaces that have the virus on it, and then touching our eyes or our nose or our mouths, and then the virus can enter our body. So keeping good, clean hands and staying away from other people.
Okay, Dr. Kulik, Dr. Bogosh, and all the kids who sent in questions, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tomorrow night, this segment will take on a special focus, your finances. Because whether you're a business owner or an employee, or you pay a mortgage or rent, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. So send your questions for our financial experts to answer on Instagram at CBC The National, or you can send us an email at thenational@cbc.ca.
There is another important question on the minds of a lot of kids right now. Will the Easter Bunny, will the Tooth Fairy still be allowed to visit in the middle of a pandemic? On the heels of a move by New Zealand yesterday, today Canadian politicians stepped up.
The Easter Bunny?
When New Zealand's Prime Minister made her declaration yesterday.
We do consider both the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny to be essential workers.
Little did she know she'd be helping out Canadian kids.
I've seen what New Zealand has done.
Today, Ontario Premier Doug Ford jumped on board, saying it.
The Easter Bunny has become an essential service.
And putting it in writing. The Easter Bunny can deliver treats to Ontario children, but not in parks or playgrounds. And from Quebec, big news about that other hard worker.
The Tooth Fairy now is on the list of essential service and is immune to the coronavirus.
That's good news. When we come back, coming together in faith while staying apart. But first, here's Andrew.
If your job brings you into contact with other people, you are at a higher risk of getting sick. So how then do you avoid infecting your family? The first thing, wash your hands often.
At least every hour, if not more often. And this is getting into an excess of caution, but is a consideration potentially. I know some people are choosing to change clothes so that the clothes that they wore out and about are not the clothes that they come into the house with, and that they put those clothes directly into the wash.
And what about how you interact with your family?
If you're both very, very careful at your place of work, and you're both being mindful of hand hygiene, and you're both clearly without any symptoms, many people are choosing to have some degree of normalcy in their life and still maintaining the same household relationship that they did before this.
Whatever you decide, remember to wipe down common high-touch surfaces, both at home and at work.
This is a big month for the religious. Passover starts tomorrow, Easter is on Sunday, and Ramadan begins later this month. But COVID-19 is preventing people from getting together, from celebrating together. So as Tom Murphy explains, some are putting their faith in technology.
The Sunday morning bustle at St. Benedict Catholic Church in Halifax is gone. The church bell, silent. These pews haven't seen a parishioner in weeks.
Just because we've shut the doors to our church and the church is closed, that building is closed, doesn't mean the church is closed. And at a time like this, that's a fundamental question people are asking. What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? What's the point of all this suffering? Whoever you are, you're most welcome to join us today, and we believe that God has a special blessing for you.
It's why they decided to become even more social, ramping up their live stream broadcast of Sunday Mass, last week reaching 10,000 viewers.
I'm a bit of a big deal on YouTube. I kind of always had a sense that my preaching would empty the church one day. It just happened a lot sooner than I thought it would.
Creating that spiritual space can be a particular challenge in the Jewish faith. A minyan or quorum of 10 would usually be required for certain religious obligations.
We've also been very creative and yet still authentic in the way in which we've solved certain religious problems with regard to weddings. I was able to co-officiate at a wedding a week ago.
We're here for you during this time of anxiety.
And not just weddings.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat prayers, bar and bat mitzvahs, even coffee with the rabbi are all being done by Zoom.
It's the beginning of the telling of the story on the Seder plate.
In fact, Rabbi Wernick is hosting a virtual Seder, a ceremonial dinner to start Passover live from his home.
At times of disruption, you make allowances for what you might not otherwise make allowances for from a traditional religious perspective, because you have to live within the context in which you're living.
Yeah, we connect while we are quarantined together.
Muslims, too, are fighting the isolation of a pandemic as Ramadan approaches.
And now that Ramadan is coming, I think all of us are kind of thinking and feeling the burden of not being able to come together in a way that we usually do.
And for these women, it's something called Sisters Circle, a weekly online gathering to discuss what the faith means to them.
Being able to remind each other of what's important is really essential, because it's really, really easy to forget when you're not living that day to day.
Even in a time of isolation, there's strength in community and hope.
Whenever I feel like put in a panic or when is this going to end and kind of insecure about the insecurity of it all, I'm just trying to remind myself that there is a plan and there are blessings in this.
And for some, there's faith that still burns bright in these dark times. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Halifax.
Well, next on The National, a fond farewell tonight for Schitt's Creek.
Why did you startle me awake like this? A hiccup. What hiccup? Who's hiccuping? Oh.
Why fans say they need the Rose family now more than ever. We'll be right back.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, what we can learn from the worst pandemic in recent history, the 1918 Spanish flu. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Don't forget to say hello to your handsome proprietor, Mr. Jonathan Rose.
Thank you for having us.
John, no.
A remarkable success comes to a close tonight on CBC Television and in the U.S. Over 6 seasons, Schitt's Creek built an international following. And at a time when darkness and cynicism drive a lot of TV hits, Schitt's Creek embraced family and love, something the whole world could probably use right now. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson spoke with co-creator Dan Levy and met fans for whom the show really meant something.
What happened? Who died?
Who died?
Did Patrick die?
Some people only woke up recently to the charms of this wealthy family gone broke. But this couple watched from the very first episode in 2015.
You have all these characters thrown into this dire situation in their lives, but now they're trying to make the best out of it and find humor in daily lives.
Thank you for having us.
John, no.
Finding humor and making the best of things have never been more important than now.
I think before the pandemic, we weren't so focused on watching it right away. But I think these last few weeks, we've been pretty adamant. Oh, it's coming, it's coming.
It's a show that's, really about the power of community and the power of acceptance. And I think those are messages that mean more now than ever before.
Cast members have appeared nightly on social media to raise money for food banks in Canada and the U.S.
I want to thank our fans once again, everybody who has contributed.
Engaging with fans who, after tonight's finale, won't get to see any more new adventures of the Rose family. But it stars hope Schitt's Creek's legacy runs deep.
It's kind storytelling, and I really hope that it can kind of be a model going forward to promote more of that, because you can never have too much of it, in my opinion.
The beautiful thing about television is you can always start it back at season 1 and stay with us. So I've been telling people that we're not necessarily saying goodbye. We're just saying, farewell for now.
My parents have spent an astounding amount of money on therapy.
These fans plan to do just that, going back to the start to spend more quality time with a family who learned that humanity and connection can be found even in hard times. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Next on The National, a greenhouse with plants that would otherwise go to waste. And an idea from the owner to spread some hope. Our moment is next. Like a lot of places, nurseries across Canada are struggling. They have plants in full bloom and yet no one to buy them. But one greenhouse owner had an idea. And that was an idea to spread some light and cheer in a time so uncertain. So this week, flowers started to pop up on thousands of different front porches, and that is our moment.
Behold, there was a basket of flowers for me, and my upstairs neighbor had one too. The card said, "We have plants that currently don't have a home, and we'd like to spread some cheer to you and your family."
We were seeing a lot of panic and a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety in a lot of people, and we thought, let's get a message of hope out there too. So Smithville, Beamsville, Grimsby, Lower Hamilton, Stony Creek, I think probably about 20 to 25,000 plants.
I thought, are they giving flowers to everybody in downtown Hamilton? And I think the last time that I've been given flowers, I'm usually the one giving flowers. And it was like the Easter Bunny left flowers for me when I got home.
We were doing it for, just to spread good news.
Spreading good news, spreading smiles. I love it. And of course, they did it in a safe way. They tell us a physically distant way, only one person approaching each house at a time and never having any contact with people, just leaving the flowers right there.
Well, not having any contact, but definitely making an impact. So they tell us that they heard from people, hundreds of people called them crying, sometimes saying how appreciative they were that they felt seen, which with everyone locked away is kind of a really interesting comment. And it's the little things that make a big difference. That is a national for April the 7th. Good night.
Good night.